So I think the obstacle, if you go back, and I don't know if I'm talking to younger women trying to enter the field or grow in the field, but as I was a young woman entering the field, I think the biggest obstacle is I was often the only woman in the room, and it was sometimes difficult to fit in. So in the early days, it would be like dealing with men that build their business differently, emotion management, and things like that. So in the early days, I was in this venture firm, and it was my boss and myself. I was a younger woman in the firm, and we were dealing with entrepreneurs, all women, all men. Board meetings were all men, and so on and so forth. And I remember sometimes discussion would be very strong. There would be yelling, there would be arguments, and so on. And I was not raised in that environment, so for me, it was a challenge dealing with that. I could not control my emotion. If there was a huge argument and there would be a lot of people yelling in the room, I had difficulty reacting in a professional way, like I had difficulty controlling my emotion. So very early on, I remember of one incident where it was very difficult, and my boss at the time, who was making the venture capital investment and everything, got really mad at one entrepreneurs, and it got really ugly, and there was swearing and yelling and so on and so forth. And I was like in this situation where I almost wanted to cry, and I controlled myself obviously, but after that I went in my office and I thought, never again. I need to control that. I need to be professional. This is a division between, they're not yelling at you, it's the situation, and so on and so forth. So adapting to that for me in the early beginning of my career was difficult, because I was raised in a very peaceful, nobody ever raised a voice in my family. It was very, I have two sisters, so there was only my dad as a male present. So that was the first adaptation. After that, it was, I would say, and again, thinking about it from being a female VC perspective, it was the boys club. So there was, especially a long time ago, but I think it still exists, there was this phenomenon where they had their activity, their things that they like, and they did together. So if you were, for example, wanting to participate in all those events because you wanted to be part of the discussion and the deal and so on and so forth, sometimes people would think it was for the wrong reason, because you were this girl wanting to be in the boys club, and it was hard to just insert yourself in a normal way, I would say, because it was not an habit. So for example, all the guys would go play pool or have a beer, or would go out after dinner with clients or with potential investors or leads in prospects investments and everything, and I would want to go. But sometimes they would think, why does she want to go? Is it because she wants to flirt, or is it because she's got other interests? And I would be, no, I want to go because that's the time when you talk about the deal. That's the time when you talk about one aspect of the deal where I might learn or I might contribute, and why can't I be part of that aspect of the conversation? So in the early days, that was the part where it was more difficult, but frankly, I didn't mind. I just was heads down. This is what I want to do. This is what I love doing. I think I'm quite good at it. So I just followed the motion and pushed my way through.